Long ago, the first two brothers were born. They were called Cain and Abel. Cain was the older brother. He grew up to be a farmer. Cain worked in the fields. He grew fruits and vegetables. Abel was the younger brother. He looked after sheep. Abel loved his sheep. He kept them safe and well fed. Cain and Abel often worked hard. One day, it was time to thank God. They wanted to give God a gift. This gift was called an offering. It was an important way to worship God. Cain and Abel wanted to show God they were thankful. Cain brought an offering from his farm. He'd worked hard to grow his crops and felt proud of his harvest. He gathered a variety of fruits and grains, filling a large basket to present to God. He piled up a big basket of fruit and grain, thinking that the quantity would surely impress. He thought God would be happy with his generous offering. Abel, on the other hand, also brought an offering. He was a shepherd and cared deeply for his flock. He carefully chose the best lamb from his flock, ensuring it was without blemish. He loved his sheep very much and spent a lot of time with them, nurturing and protecting them. It was a big sacrifice to give the lamb away, as it was dear to him, but Abel wanted to give God his very best, showing his deep respect and love. God looked at the two offerings, observing the intentions behind them. He was pleased with Abel's gift, recognizing the love and sacrifice it represented. God could see Abel's love in the gift, and it brought him joy. However, God was not pleased with Cain's offering. It lacked the heartfelt devotion that Abel's had. Cain had not given his best to God, and it showed. He was only thinking about himself, and his offering reflected that selfishness. Cain was very upset. His heart was filled with turmoil and frustration. He was angry that God preferred Abel's offering. This preference made him feel inferior and rejected. His face became red, and he clenched his fists. The anger inside him was like a storm brewing, ready to burst. He felt jealous of his brother. God saw Cain's anger and knew his heart was troubled. "Why are you angry?" God asked Cain. "Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, you will be happy. Your heart will be at peace. But if you do not, sin will win over you. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it. You must be careful." Cain did not listen to God's warning. He turned away, letting his anger fester. He let his anger grow and grow, feeding it with every thought of jealousy and resentment. He hated his brother Abel with a burning intensity that consumed him. One day, Cain asked Abel to go for a walk with him. Abel, unaware of Cain's dark intentions, agreed. They walked into the fields, the sun shining down on them, but Cain's heart was clouded with rage. Cain was still very angry with his brother. His mind was set on a dark path, and there was no turning back. Cain attacked his brother Abel. In a fit of rage, he struck him down, unable to control his emotions. He was so full of anger and jealousy that he killed Abel. His heart was consumed by dark feelings that led him to commit this terrible act. God asked Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" Cain lied to God, trying to hide his guilt and shame. "I don't know," he said, pretending ignorance. "Am I my brother's keeper?" he retorted, deflecting responsibility. But God saw what Cain had done. Nothing is hidden from the eyes of the Almighty. God was sad that Cain had sinned. He punished Cain, making him a wanderer on the earth. Cain had to leave his home. He was banished from the land he knew and loved. He had to go far away to wander the earth. Cain was scared, feeling the weight of his actions. He didn't want to be alone. The thought of endless solitude terrified him. God promised to protect Cain. Despite his sin, God showed mercy. He put a special mark on Cain. This mark was a sign of God's protection. This mark meant that no one could hurt him. It was a divine safeguard. Cain was safe, but he was always alone. His punishment was a life of solitude. He was very sorry for what he had done. The weight of his guilt was heavy. This story teaches us that jealousy and anger are dangerous. They can lead us to do things we regret. We should always try to do our best and be kind to others. Compassion and understanding are key. Even when we make mistakes, God is always with us. His love and protection are ever present.